Welcome to Washburn University and to the class of 2020 and the class of 2021 School of Law graduation ceremony. I am Jalen Lowry, Associate Dean for Student Affairs of the Law School. I would like to begin by introducing the members of the platform party. Beginning at my immediate right, they are Helen Van Etten, Board of Regents member. Dr. Julianne Mazicek, Vice President for Academic Affairs, Washburn University. Blanche Parks, Board of Regents member. Pedro Irigoyengaray, Law School alumnus, honorary degree recipient, and our speaker for this afternoon. Terry Beck, Law School alumnus and Board of Regents member. Dr. Jerry Farley, President of Washburn University. Shelley Bueller, Board of Regents member, and Carla Pratt, Dean of the Law School. Congratulations to the class of 2020 and the class of 2021. I could not find a record of the 1919 graduation ceremony held after the pandemic of 1918. So I'm not sure if there has ever been a time at Washburn when two graduating classes celebrated their graduations on the same day. But certainly, it hasn't happened for over 100 years. Many of you are close to classmates in the year above or behind you, and I hope you get a chance to catch up with each other today. You are always going to remember that you all got through this historic time together and did so with a lot of grace and grit. You have accomplished much and will continue to do so. As an example, the American Bar Association recently released the 2020 Graduate Employment Statistic, and Washburn Law ranked first in the region and in the top quarter of the nation for the gold standard of legal employment for graduates, full-time, long-term, bar license required employment. That says a lot about what the class of 2020 was able to accomplish and what the class of 2021 will accomplish during very difficult times. Today is a time of triumph and joy, but I know that for many of you, there is a bittersweet quality to our celebration. Many of you have experienced great grief during law school and in this last year, including the loss of loved ones. Let us take a moment of silence to remember those who are missing from our lives. Shadow to our bright celebration reminds us that it is important to stop and express our gratitude for everyone who helped you get here today. First always, your family and friends, both those celebrating with you here today and those watching from afar. They make all the sacrifice worth it and all success possible. Thank you to them. I would also like to recognize those in this room who have pledged their lives to protect our freedom. Will the current and former members of the armed forces, both among our graduates and in the audience, please rise if you can. We additionally owe a special thanks this year to many others, including those among our graduates and our audience who also put their lives at risk to keep this country going, who made sure that we still had food and utilities and safe homes and roads. And we owe a special shout out to the wonderful tech people, and none better than those at Washburn Law who went above and beyond to make sure that education and communication continued uninterrupted. And finally, a special thank you to all those in the health professions who risk so much to keep so many of us alive and healthy, including, I'm so thankful to say, and every one of our dear graduates. I hope that all of you mentioned will applaud each other and also accept all of our applause as a gesture of our heartfelt gratitude. It is now my pleasure to introduce the graduate that the class of 2020 elected as their Washburn Student Bar Association president. Harry Schwartz was a forward-thinking president who effectuated difficult changes that will ensure the health and vitality of WSBA and other law student organizations for years to come. He didn't foresee the pandemic, but he foresaw a lot of other things that would be needed in the future, and he took care of them. Harry is now practicing with a private firm with offices in Kansas and Missouri, and I'm so thankful that he was able to make the time to come back and celebrate with us today. Harry, on behalf of the class of 2020, I would like to present to you a gavel, which I know you would have wielded with relish during your time as president. It's probably best that you didn't receive it until now.
Good afternoon. Congratulations to the May 2020 graduates for your accomplishments. Although a bit of a delay, we finally made it. It is nice to see some familiar faces, even if it is, well, see, I wrote this, and it's even if it is just your eyeballs, but as we got the text yesterday, that's since been changed, so I actually get to see your faces now. I hope that during my brief message, you will think about your time at Washburn and relish in the moment. It was just a short time ago that each of us began at Washburn Law. Now we are all graduates and have a JD affixed to our name for the rest of our lives. We put in countless hours into studying and preparing for this moment. So for those of you that don't know, here's a quick and dirty guide to Washburn Law out there, and the graduates, hopefully some fond memories. Life comes at you fast. We all found that out, that law school comes at you faster. Professor Bauder's first week, I think, took some years off of our lives. And then his civil procedure class made me never want anyone to call me by my last name again. We learned that when Bauder says, just chill, we should probably do everything but the opposite of that. We found out that there are several Donnas in the building and that they pretty much run the whole behind everything that they do. There is a dean of student affairs who always is there whenever you have a problem or just need to vent. Some of you call her Queen Lowry. Professor Boyack sings at least once a semester, and at the same time talk and write faster than any other human being I've ever met. Professor Jackson wears any color combination humanly possible and may even cancel a class if you file an emergency motion underneath his door. Professor Grant uses M&Ms to teach, and I can't think of a better way to learn in her gifts and skills. Finally, how can we forget Professor Duncan and his rubber chicken and the infamous bundle of sticks that to this day none of us understand? Hi, Professor. Jim Valvano once said, in your life, you should always know three things: where you came from, where you are, where you're going. Some of you may be first-generation lawyers. Some of you may be first-generation graduate students. I know I was. When you think about the time it takes to get to this moment, one cannot help but think about where you came from. I hope that each of you had some sort of support system during law school, that you had some people you could really lean on to help you get through the briefs, the midterms, and the final. I hope some of these people are here with you today, or watching at home and celebrating this accomplishment with you. I hope that you take a moment to thank these people who made it through this, not only with you, but for them too. There are also people who may have told you that you could not get. This moment is for them too. This moment is for the people that may have said, well, you might not get into law school. Well, the profession maybe wasn't for you. Or even that you might not graduate. While you may not have realized it, these people motivated you and helped you get to this. And I hope that these people continue to motivate you throughout your life, and you continue to prove them wrong, because I know you can. This class and last May's class are unique. I'm not sure anyone has graduated during the law school pandemic since the early 1900s. And that's what we dealt with, and I hope that we're on the other side of it now. The goals you have are more so important because people need help. It is cliche, but it's something almost everyone says when asked why they went to law school. To help people. This is an honorable profession. We can use these challenging times to really focus on what we want to do to make this world a better place, because we all can make an impact. Washburn has taught us well. We have prosecutors, defense attorneys, public defenders, people working in big law, people working in small law, and I'm sure we'll have some politicians at some point. That is where we are going. The one thing that always helped me get through law school was that everyone was in the same boat. Everyone was studying and just trying to get through. I know that the last year has been very different for everyone. What we have/are going through is different. But what is the same is that we can still be there for each other. In the real world, there will be times that will rival law school, but you might not have the people next to you helping you and motivating you. I encourage you then to reach out to those people who supported you through law school. It is our job as classmates to check up on each other. We have to stick together through these times, and sometimes we need each other more than we think we do. So good luck with this next chapter in your life, and remember, just as the JD will be with you for the rest of your life, so will your classmates and your memories of how you did not let 2020 stop you from reaching this day. Congratulations. Each year, the graduating class during their fall to final year recognize one professor and one adjunct professor among all those who have taught while the class has been at Washburn Law. Douglas Awards provide an opportunity to honor outstanding professors who motivate, challenge, and inspire excellence in students. 2019 and 2020 recipient of the William O. Douglas Professor of the Year Award is Professor Amy Westbrook. Professor Westbrook is the Kurt M. Sager Memorial Distinguished Professor of International and Commercial Law, which teaches business associations, financial institution regulation, international business transactions, and security regulation. She is also the co-director of the Business and Transactional Law Center. Now, she's not with us here today, but I believe she's watching from home. So can we give a round of applause? Recipient of the Adjunct Professor of the Year is the Honorable Sarah Warner of the Kansas Court of Appeals. Judge Warner has taught at Washburn Law for the past 10 years, teaching conflicts of law and in a course in appellate practice that she designed. I'll now turn things back over to Queen Lowry.
Thank you, Harry. I feel very grateful to both the class of 2020 and the class of 2021 for choosing their WSBA presidents so wisely. Both presidents have been an absolute joy to work with. It is my pleasure now to introduce the 2021 WSBA President, Victoria Toothaker. Tori saw the class through a full year of the pandemic and handled numerous unprecedented problems with discipline and grace. She might have wished at times that she hadn't been in such a hurry to get to law school, but she is our first LEAP graduate, meeting our rigorous requirements to qualify for our law early admission program. Tori will be studying for the bar after graduation and has already accepted a position as a felony assistant district attorney for the Shawnee District Attorney's Office. President Toothaker, I am pleased to present to you a gavel in gratitude for your service to the student body on behalf of the class of 2021.
It is my honor today to deliver the commencement address on the behalf of the graduating class of 2021. To start, I'd like to take a moment to thank all of our friends, family, professors, and staff who made these last 3 years everything that they were. Without all of you, we wouldn't be here to celebrate this amazing accomplishment. I'd also like to personally thank Dr. Stephen Can, who has recently passed away. He was my undergraduate advisor, professor, and friend. Without his help and guidance, I wouldn't have made it this far, and I wish he could be here to see this. I also know that each of my classmates have someone much like Dr. Can to thank for this accomplishment. So thank you. This is for all of you that helped us get to this day. Now, to be candid with you all, I had a lot of trouble coming up with the perfect words to say because there's just so much that has happened in these last 3 years. Our class has faced unique challenges during our time here at Washburn University School of Law. Yet, we have still been able to overcome all the challenges put before us. But I suppose that is exactly what we were here to do. Be presented with problems and then tasked with figuring them out, even if we don't always come up with the right answers. Remembering back to our first few days of school, Professor Bahadur was firing rapidly problems and case examples at us, and it was extremely overwhelming. But as we got used to things, more and more of us would get up the courage to answer a professor's question. And there were a few times in Professor Duncan's class, for example, he'd call out, "Who are we going to call?" And Ghostbusters is not the right answer. But the challenges didn't stop with just the material our professors were giving us. Some of us were faced with online learning for the first time, and there were times when a few of us would forget to turn off our mics or get caught goofing around on Zoom breaks when we were actually supposed to be discussing important topics. In some, we adapted. Our class has come so far from that first day with Professor Bahadur, and I am excited to see how much further we all will go. I'm so proud to be a part of the graduating class of 2021, as we are comprised of some of the most resilient and driven individuals I have ever seen. Congratulations, you all. We finally did it. Thank you. And now I get to present the Professor of the Year Award, Adjunct Professor of the Year Award, and Staff Member of the Year Award. On behalf of the graduating class of 2021, I am honored to present to you the 2020 to 2021 William O. Douglas Outstanding Professor of the Year and Outstanding Adjunct Professor of the Year. In addition, this is the inaugural year of the Outstanding Staff Member of the Year Award. This award recognizes staff members who have positively impacted the class's law school experience. I am pleased to first announce to the class of 2021's choice of the William O. Douglas Outstanding Professor of the Year Award, which goes to none other than Professor Rory Bahadur. Professor Bahadur is the James R. Ahrens Chair in Tort Law and teaches torts, civil procedure, admiralty, and maritime law, and federal courts, in addition to teaching methods nationally and internationally, as well as scaring 1Ls their first year of school. Next is the class of 2021's choice of the William O. Douglas Outstanding Adjunct Professor of the Year. It goes to Head of Access Services, Barbara Ginsburg. Professor Ginsburg is the Head of Access Services at the Washburn Law Library and teaches legal research skills at her statutory and legislative research course, in addition to helping numerous students throughout the library. And finally, the class of 2021's choice for the first ever William O. Douglas Outstanding Staff Member of the Year Award goes to Administrator Donna Haverkamp. Donna Haverkamp is the Student Records Administrator and assists students in matters ranging from scheduling testing accommodations to conducting degree audits, and she's helped out many of us when we were in a jam. Please join me in congratulating Professor Bahadur, Professor Ginsburg, and Ms. Haverkamp in a well-deserved honor. I'll now turn things back over to Dean Lowry.
Thank you, Tori. It is now my privilege to introduce the Dean of our law school, Carla Pratt.
Thank you, Dean Lowry. I have the privilege today of introducing our distinguished alumnus, recipient of the Doctor of Laws degree, and our commencement speaker for today. Washburn University School of Law has a history of creating courageous lawyers. We've been doing it since 1903. We are perhaps most well known for having educated the African American lawyers who had the courage to bring a legal challenge to the unjust rule of law in Plessy versus Ferguson that endorsed racial segregation as long as the separate benefit provided to people of color was equal to what was provided to whites. Elisha Scott, Lauren Miller, Charles Bledsoe, John Scott, and Charles Scott were the courageous lawyers who dared to challenge racial apartheid in Kansas through successive litigation that would lead to the United States Supreme Court's decision in Brown versus Board of Education of Topeka. That case held that racial segregation in public school education could not stand in the face of the equal protection of the law mandate in the 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution. That decision was in 1954. And less than 2 decades later, Washburn University School of Law would graduate another generation of courageous lawyers equipped to continue the struggle for justice and equality for all. One of those courageous lawyers was Pedro Irigoyen. Dr. Irigoyen graduated from Washburn Law in 1973, beginning the practice of law just a decade after the Civil Rights Act of 1964. He has had a diverse practice, but he is probably most well known for his work as, quote, a highly skilled Topeka trial lawyer, which is how he was described by one of his adversaries who was a partner at Arnold and Porter in Washington, D.C., which, for those of you who don't know, is one of the most reputable and profitable law firms in the United States. Mr. Irigoyen has served as president of the Kansas Trial Lawyers Association and as a fellow in the American College of Trial Lawyers and the International Academy of Trial Lawyers. Although Dr. Irigoyen rose to become a lawyer who commanded the respect of top litigators across the country, he continued to use his legal talent to represent individuals from marginalized backgrounds who lack resources, power, and influence. He has represented victims of sexual abuse and victims of police brutality. He has advocated for the right to privacy for medical patients, and he has represented gay and transgender individuals in the quest to ensure that the law would protect their civil rights too. For those of us who are lawyers, he is the kind of lawyer that we all imagined we would become when we set off on the journey to attend law school. Today we have the privilege of hearing from this courageous Washburn lawyer. Would you please help me welcome to the podium Dr. Pedro Irigoyen.
You'll be glad to know this is my speech. I have the immense privilege of standing here before this wonderful group of people. And before I say another word, I believe it would be most appropriate if each of you took a moment to stand, find your family or friend that's here, and give them a round of applause. If you would, please. Yes, you did it. You did it. Dr. Farley, Susan, Dean Carla Pratt, Regent Terry Beck, Regent Shelley Bueller, Regent Blanche Parks, Regent Helen Van Eaton, Associate Dean Jaylene Lowry, parents, family, friends, spouses, significant others, I am honored to stand before you today. I have written at least 10 speeches for you. None of them seemed good enough. I have had the privilege of arguing before courts for almost 50 years, given a lot of speeches. I've never worried about a speech as much as this one, because of how strongly I feel about you and your future. You see, you are freedom defenders. Each of you. Matters not what area of the law you decide to practice. You'll be working with our Constitution. Freedom defenders, each of you. I encourage you to practice with the highest degree of ethics. Remember, the practice of law is an open book test, and your clients deserve nothing but straight A's. And they will get it from you. This is a very special year. We celebrate the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, giving women the right to vote. Just 100 years ago, that wasn't possible. I, for one, have been the great beneficiary of having an amazing female law partner, Elizabeth Herbert. Without her, I would not have been able to do the things that I have done. She is the smartest person in our office. I am the beneficiary of her wisdom, her hard work, her honesty, and her dedication to the practice of law. Now, each of you is going to be motivated by a variety of reasons to reach for that unreachable star. As Don Quixote said, he is crazier that sees life for what it is rather than for what it should be. I want to tell you a little story about what motivates me. I was talking earlier with one of your classmates, and I made sure he understood that all of us have interesting stories. All of us are worthy of equal dignity. For me, my motivation comes from my loss of freedom. You see, I was born in Havana, Cuba in 1948. And from the time I was a little boy, I remember living in fear of our government. I remember during the Batista regime in the mid-50s, hiding with my grandfather, my uncles, my father, my mother, my grandmother, listening to Rebel radio, an underground radio that was promoted by Fidel Castro when he was in the Sierra Maestra Mountains fighting for Cuban freedom. Knowing that if we were caught listening to that radio station, we would be in serious trouble. So I grew up in fear of government. Then January the 1st, 1959, we thought freedom had arrived. Unfortunately, it turned into a communist dictatorship. January 13th, 1961, as my mother literally pulled me away from my arms wrapped around my father and my sisters at the Havana International Airport, thinking I would never see them again. My mother and I left on an airplane, and in 1 hour's time, I went from being a proud Cuban boy to being a political refugee immigrant. Like that. The flight, when it left the island and international waters were reached, an announcement was made by the pilot. And people in the airplane began to proclaim, "Libertad, libertad," liberty. We were free. We were free, my mother and I, leaving behind my father, my two sisters, my native tongue, my dog Duke, my friends, everything. This ring, my mother took out in a handkerchief into which she was blowing her nose. And with a few other jewels, that was the only thing they did not search and take. But my mother was educated. She had a doctor's degree in pharmacy. And we came to the United States looking for what you are going to be protecting. Freedom. You are freedom defenders. You see, my country didn't have enough people like you. We didn't have an independent judiciary. We did not respect the rule of law. And as a consequence, tyrant after tyrant controlled. No right of due process. No rights at all, unless one was involved with the government. A tyranny. In this winter of 1962, in Topeka, my family was reunited. One of the first things we did, my father took us, I was 13 years old, to the state capitol building. And my father said to us, in this building, the laws are created. In this building, the laws are enforced. We have no other place to go if we lose our freedom. You are our freedom defenders. I went to law school, commencing in 1970, with one goal. I wanted to be freedom's defender. I had seen the brutality of discrimination. I had seen discrimination against gay, lesbian, and transgender people. I had seen the way that African Americans were treated. Dogs being placed upon them. There was a lot wrong with America. But we had freedom defenders. Lawyers just like you that said, no, this isn't right. Equality and justice must be for all and must be equal for all. Otherwise, our democracy does not work. You are freedom defenders. Freedom defenders. Freedom defenders. That's my motivation. That's what burns inside of me. A desire that the dreams that are proclaimed in our Declaration of Independence, the principles outlined in our United States Constitution, are enforced and are protected by you, freedom defenders. You are freedom defenders. I cannot tell you enough how important a role that is. And not only are you freedom defenders, but you come so highly prepared to do so. This is an amazing law school. Look at who your teachers are. Men and women dedicated to make you the very best freedom defenders you could possibly be. People that have dedicated their lives so that you can succeed. People who, as you grow in age, will become your dear personal friends. Cricket Elrod. We were in undergraduate school together. An amazing woman. And in 2024, when she retires, she would have served 50 years creating freedom defenders. Cricket, you deserve our applause. Rory, what can I say about you? You rock. All of you. Jeff, I mean, I would have to spend more time up here than you can imagine to thank all of you. Jerry Farley, look what he's done to our campus. When I say Jerry, I include Susan, who is an amazing lady. You're very fortunate. You're very fortunate indeed. Earlier today, we applauded members of the armed forces. Today happens to be Armed Forces and Officers and Police Departments Day. And I again want to take a moment to say thank you to you, because you're also freedom defenders. So thank you, thank you, thank you. COVID-19. You have gone through a very, very difficult time, and you've succeeded. You've got grit. You're perfect to defend freedom. Perfect to defend freedom. I asked whether or not, because I was addressing both the 2020 and the 2021 class, if that meant I had twice the time to speak. I was quickly dissuaded of that possibility, much to your satisfaction. I wish I could hug each of you. You know who I am. Most of the time, we get to stand here and tell you what we think. I'm going to ask each of you a very special favor. And not only you, but your parents and spouses and friends. If you care to, if you wish, it's easy to get my email address. There's not a lot of Irigaray lawyers from Cuba in Topeka. If you would be so kind to send me an email with what motivates you, what do you want to do? And I'm going to ask you 25 years from now, and it will fly by, to take a look at that email and ask yourself, did I live my dream? And if not, what am I going to do about it? Fly high. Fly high. You're freedom fighters. In closing, I want to share our story with you. In 2001, I was president of the Kansas Trial Lawyers Association. And as president of that association, I testified quite often at the Senate and the House here in Topeka. One day, after having finished my testimony, I was walking away from the room where I had spoken when this very nice young man with a large number of young people said to me, "Where do we go next?" I didn't want to lose an opportunity for leadership. And I said, "Follow me." So I took them all to the rotunda. And I had them circle the rotunda at the Capitol building. By this time, the teacher was looking at me, thinking, this doesn't seem quite right. But I looked like I had authority. I had a badge. So they did what I suggested. And as those kids lined that rotunda, I said to them something similar to this. I said, "Kids, I want you to think about children around the world that by no fault of their own are not free. I want you to think about kids around the world that today are hungry. I want you to think about kids that are being forced into wars by adults that care less for them than they do their own glory. I want you to think about children not receiving sufficient health care. I want you to think about politicians that lie. Politicians that are willing to steal elections. Politicians that are dictators. And at the count of 3, at the top of your voice, I want you all to scream freedom." And the most beautiful scream imaginable ever in the history of that Capitol building was shouted, and it went up to the top and resonated down and up again. By this time, there were officers coming from every corner of the building. But what were they going to accuse me of? Screaming freedom? So, in closing, I want you to do me a favor. Would you all stand, please? If you can, please stand. With all the courage in your heart, with all the conviction in your bones, I want you to think about every human being today that does not enjoy the freedom that we enjoy in America. I want you to think for a moment of all of those people that are subjugated by dictators. I want you to think of all of those human beings that do not have equal protection under the law. And for all of them, at the count of 3, I want you to scream freedom so loud that it's heard at KU. So,
I believe that is the first participatory commencement address that I've ever seen. Be it known that inasmuch an honorary degree is awarded to women and men who, because of their scholarly contributions, meritorious public service, or other noteworthy achievements, have come into universal high regard, the Board of Regents of Washburn University does thereby confer upon Pedro Irgranagaray the degree Doctor of Law with all of the rights, privileges, insignia pertaining thereto, in testimony whereof this diploma is issued with the signature of the President and Chairman of the Board of Regents, and the seal of the university is affixed at Topeka, Kansas, on this 15th day of May, 2021. Mr. Irganagaraj, for your leadership, your support of higher education, and your dedication to helping others, Washburn University confers this honorary degree. In token thereof, we cause you to be vested with the Doctor of Law academic hood and grant you this diploma. Congratulations.
Will the class of 2020 candidates for the Juris Doctor degree and the Master of Laws degree please rise? Dean Pratt, President Farley, I present to you the candidates for the Juris Doctor degree and the Master of Laws degree of the class of 2020.
President Farley, the candidates before you and in absentia have completed all requirements for the Juris Doctor degree or the Master of Laws degree and have been recommended by the Faculty of Law. I am pleased to present them to you now for the conferring of their degrees.
Thank you, Dean. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of Washburn University of Topeka, I hereby confer upon those who have completed the requirements, the Doctor of Law degree, Juris Doctor, or Masters of Laws, with all of the honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto. As a symbol of your great accomplishment, please move your tassel from one side to the other side of your hat. Congratulations. Will the class of 2020 graduates come now before us to receive your diplomas?
Givy S. Billy. Lana Allen. Nicolette Rodriguez Armstrong, summa cum laude. Joshua Stephen Brown. Lillian Alexandra Chin. Catherine Ann Davis, magna cum laude. Philip Douglas Depew. Elizabeth Chandler Eggleston, cum laude. Alyssa Rebecca Ellis, Dean's Honors. Christopher Lee Grouse, magna cum laude. Gabriella Catherine Grouse, Dean's Honors. Stephen Gregory Griot. Jessie Joanne Gutierrez, cum laude. Abigail Rose Horn. Bryce Stephen Landgraf. Donald Jean Parr III. Chase Pumford. Harry D. Schwartz. Cody Allen Smith. Derek Pierce Smith. Lance Smith. Halen McCafferty Sumners, Dean's Honors. Casey Don Van Dong, cum laude. Lauren Melise Young. Cynthia Joanne Sawcheck, Dean's Honors. Some of our 2020 graduates have started careers too far away to be able to join us in person today, but they are watching with their families at home. We want to recognize them also. Spencer Bailey, Matthew W. Bastian, Wayland Kenneth Bergstrom, Nellie Betson, Rika Batari, LLM, Sanita Bista, LLM, Melinda Brannon, Thea Ann Brunetti, Tanya Joyce Bach, Dean's Honors, Matthew John Allen Lett II, Maccasia Rose Counts, Dean's Honors, Matthias Crook, John Edward Cummings, Brandon Tyler Pearl, Dean's Honors, Chloe Elizabeth Davis, Dean's Honors, Indicus Matthias Bessos Delport, LLM, Bradford Ryan Young, Kayla Kennedy, Dean's Honors, Ashley Ellens, Dean's Honors, Heidi Nicole Farnsworth, Drake Thomas Ford, Nick French, Jake Gregg, Kirsten Harden, Michael Harden, cum laude, Evan Hathaway, Michael James Hawthorne, Dean's Honors, Trey Horton, Dean's Honors, Joshua Ben Howell, Brian Kong, Honors, Rissa Leffler, Susan Margaret Block, magna cum laude, Michael McPhee, Dean's Honors, Sullivan Charles Mannion, Andrew Brandon Massey, Kenneth Lowell McBride, Madison Lorraine McKay, Taylor Madison Meeks, Dean's Honors, Jason Muher, Shania Mirza, dual degree of JD and MBA, Jared Lau Moore, Elena Nadella, LLM, Christopher Adam Noon, Miles David Peterson, Cole Don Vanna, Dean's Honors, Samuel Padrabarek, Alexander Pratt Robinson, magna cum laude, Molly Rondo, Jordan Marie Shaw, Dean's Honors, Reese Simpson, John Joseph, Leland Vance Spears Jr., Honors, Kayla Savanaugh, cum laude, Logan Tyler, John Michael Thomas, Manny Raj Timosina, LLM, Blake Torline, Anson Ralph Tullis, Dean's Honors, Michael F. Wallace, Jacob William Welchins, Dylan Wheeler, laude, Tyler Clark Weininger, Emily Young, dual degree of JD and MSJ. Will the class of 2021 candidates for the Juris Doctor degree and the Master of Laws degree please rise? Dean Pratt, President Farley, I present to you the candidates for the Juris Doctor degree and the Master of Laws degree of the class of 2021.
President Farley, the candidates before you and in absentia have completed or are expected to complete all requirements for the Juris Doctor degree or the Master of Laws degree and have been recommended by the Faculty of Law. I am pleased to present them to you now for the
Dean Pratt, Dean Lowry, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of Washburn University, Topeka, Kansas, I hereby confer upon those who have completed the requirements of the degree, Juris Doctorate, or Masters of Law, with all the honors, the rights, the privileges, and the responsibilities pertaining thereto. As a symbol of your great achievements, please move your tassel from the left side to the right side. Class of 2021 graduates, will you now please come forward to receive your diplomas?
Nelson Icaria, LLM. Prashant K. Shrestha, LLM. Christopher DeAndre K.S. Abraham. Benjamin William Allred. Brandon Dean Apperson, Dean's Honors. Emily Christine Arita, magna cum laude. Lindsay Bayless, Dean's Honors. Zachary Beeler, Dean's Honors. Daniel Charles Beal Hall. Matthew Robert Bonner. Emily Rose Brandt, Dean's Honors. David Michael Brown, Dean's Honors. Canyon Reed Brock. Sydney Ronell Brock. Riley Michelle Broyles, magna cum laude. Tanner Ace Broyles. Elizabeth Kinsella Brunetti. Caitlin Rebecca Bull, cum laude. Kia Carnahan. Harry McGee Clark. Lyndall Crow. Vasiliki Dadiotis. Sambria S. Dale. Madeline Elise Davis. Jerry Dale Deering. Brian Edward Dieter. David Dennis. Connor Austin DeWitt, magna cum laude. Danielle Nicole Deb. Kristen Elizabeth Egger, magna cum laude. Benjamin James Ellis. Shelby N. Fehrenbacher. Antonia Lira Gonzalez. Christine Gutierrez. Josiah Bentley Harper. Dylan Dean Higginbottom. Thomas Henry, Dean's Honors. Reese Dean Hebert. Lydia Beth Hornbaker. Kelsey Taylor Howard, Dean's Honors. Ian Hughes, Dean's Honors. Joyce Johnson. Logan Jones. Lindsay Lee Knight, Dean's Honors. Tyler Ray Loddick, Dean's Honors. Cameron Austin Leadham. Weston Stephen Leeson. Casey Ray Link. William Andrew Lowe. Ethan Axel Mankey. Dean's Honors, JD, MSJ, dual degree. Bridget Elizabeth Marquis, Dean's Honors. Belinda J. McCaskey, cum laude. Mackenzie K. McCoy, Dean's Honors. James Griffin McSwain. Logan Conrad Miller. Silas Prouty Minkovich. Yvonne Moya. Abby Taylor Olson, Dean's Honors. Samantha Eve Pappas. Dakota Franklin Wayne Persinger. Tyler Blake Pettigrew, Dean's Honors. Tess Elizabeth Ramirez, cum laude. Lena Elise Griffith Randke. Paige Elizabeth Reese, cum laude. Lucas Connor Renz, Dean's Honors. Emily Ruth Richardson. Marisol Rios. James William Rutherford. Daisy Pamela Symes, Dean's Honors. Nathaniel Saros. Bailey Hamilton Schmiedler. Rachel Lynn Schween, magna cum laude. Tyler James Schween, Dean's Honors. Erica Marie Cerrone. Jamie Lee Sheik. Joseph Matthew Shelton. Desiree Catherine Smith, magna cum laude. Kiefer Starbird. Kristen Stennett. Ethan Sumida. Jessica Tim. Philip Andrew Tomlinson. Victoria Lane Toothaker. Kelly Ann Trillo. Skylar Paul Urban, Dean's Honors. Adam Usher, Dean's Honors. Darby Van Houten, Dean's Honors. Sarah Pride Vitt. In absentia and in our hearts, Ben Steve Bigham, Dean's Honors. Alexander Michael Brown, Brooke Ashley Davis, Maria Dushai, Morgan Elatrash, Madeleine Cole Farmer, Dean's Honors. Sherilyn Gay Hearn, Mateos Honorato, Dean's Honors. Laura Politi and Matthew R. Cece, Dean's Honors.
Graduates of the classes of 2020 and 2021, would you please stand? The Juris Doctor degree represents 90 academic credit hours beyond a bachelor's degree. The LLM degree represents 24 academic credit hours of advanced study in law. We are proud to welcome our graduates as alumni to the School of Law and Washburn University. On behalf of Washburn University School of Law, I wish to thank you all for participating in this commencement exercise. President Farley, honored guests, and members of the audience, please join me in recognizing these impressive individuals of the graduating classes of 2020 and 2021 for their accomplishments by offering them a round of applause. This concludes our ceremony.